My name is Jim Byrne, Principal Systems Engineer for Data Pivot Technologies. Today we're going to be going over how to recover a VM running in Citrix Xen over to VMware. And with that said, let's get cooking. All right, so before we get started, just wanted to let you know that you can always reach us by sending us an email at contact@datapivottech.com should you have any questions about this video, or maybe you want to schedule some PS time with us to help you with a large conversion of VMs from Citrix Xen over to VMware. We'll be happy to give you a hand with that. And as always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you'll get more great, exciting content just like this. All right, let's get going here. So the first thing I want to go over is the Data Pivot Lab. So let me go to the next page here. And here's the demo environment. So the environment that I have is pretty typical. We've got a couple of locations that I have set up. And I'll be working over here in Andover today. But we have, a couple of media agents replicating between sites, and each site we have different hypervisors. Over here I have VMware, Acropolis hypervisor from Nutanix. I got some physical servers. In Andover I have Xen, so I'm going to work over here. So I have a VM today running in Citrix Xen. It's Windows 2019, and it's got the Commvault agent installed on it. And that agent is able to grab all the files on the VM and the system state, which is critical. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to recover that guy over here into VMware. And what you're going to see happen is Commvault is going to use a orchestration tool called VirtualizeME, which is really handy. Because normally what you have to do is you go into VMware, you got to specify your CPU, specify your memory, specify your disk, how you're going to lay it out, all that stuff. What Commvault does is it communicates over here with VMware and sets all that stuff up for you. So all you have to do is click the VirtualizeME button and you start to see the recovery happen over here. It's all orchestrated by Commvault. It's pretty cool. So I'll show you what that's all about. So with that said, let's go take a look at VMware. I just want to make it clear that we need to have a one-touch ISO available. And I just stuck mine on a data store because the way you can access it, and I put it on hard drive number 3. And let's see, click here and we'll browse files. And I have some cleanup to do. I have a ton of stuff in here, but here we are. Here's the one touch that I have. It's the X64. This one that says PE10 is for newer stuff like 2016, 2019, 2022. This one here is for the older stuff like 2012 and 2008 and 2003. So we're going to be using this one, and you're going to see me specify this in Commvault. So when it says where's the ISO, just put it on the data store in VMware, and you'll be ready to rock and roll. Okay, so now let me go to Commvault. And let's go over what the pre-configuration you need to do. Now, this may seem like a lot of work to do this, but it's worth it. If you have, 50 or 100 VMs you got to recover, you don't want to be recovering each one, saying what data store you want to put it on, what network, and all that kind of stuff. So you can pre-select all that stuff. And Commvault calls those recovery targets. So we're going to go in here to the recovery target, and I set one up in here for the virtualized demo today. And this is just a regular recovery. And what you do is you just pre-fill this stuff out. So I'm going to go to hypervisor ESX number 3 in our lab. And the access node I'm going to use, that's my media agent. That's the user. And you can, what's kind of nice is you can automatically put a suffix on it. So you keep the same name. And, for my purposes, I put -dr, but you don't have to use it if you don't want to. But I like to just put something there so I know that it was recovered. And this is the destination host. This is the management interface on the ESX host. And this is going to use the regular VM storage policy. I'm going to throw that thing on hard drive number 2 in our lab, ESX3 hard drive 2. The resource pool, don't have to use this. If you don't, it'll just go into the root pool and you can move it later. In mine, I'm going to throw it over in the test machines. And then for the destination network, this is my 192.168 subnet. I'm going to throw it there. Now, as I build these machines, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set them up with 4 CPU, and I'm going to give them 8 gig of memory. And what this says here is the number of VMs. So like, let's say I was doing 100 VMs. You don't want to do all 100 at once. You make the VMware environment croak. So what you're going to do is You can set this to a reasonable number. And in my lab, I just have it set to 5, so I don't bury all my resources. And this expiration time doesn't apply here, but this is if you want to just do a test restore of something, bring it up, it'll come into VMware. You can look at it, check it out for about an hour, then it gets all torn down. But we're not using this here. This is what I just showed you. See how it says ESX3 HDD3, and there's the one-touch ISO right there. That's what we're going to be using. And this is my group, and I have a group called demo, so I'm going to throw it into that group. And I have some networking set up. Just for the lab, I use a proxy, and so by putting it in this demo group, it automatically sets up the networking. I'll just show that real quick, just so you can see it. And again, I'm going to put it back on the same network. See here, it says the destination network, but this is where it came from. I'm putting it on the same place. All right, let's go to manage, and I got to scroll down here. My mouse will cooperate. Come on. So sometimes if I do that, there we go. When I'm on my Mac, I don't have this problem, but when I'm in Windows, I do. But all right, here we go. There's the network. Now, network has this really cool. Commvault has this really cool thing called network topologies, and what you can do is you basically can set up kind of in a global fashion how things communicate. So in the lab, let me edit this. I like to use proxies. So this is the Pomfret side, and I have these both set up in both sides. But what you'll see here is, see this group number 1, Pomfret infrastructure. That includes the ComServes, the media agents, everything that I've put in there. And it makes a one-way connection to this proxy. Anything I have in the demo group is over here in number 3. They make a connection to the proxy. So it's kind of cool. What happens with this proxy is there are no inward connections coming into these media agents and ComServe. And the clients, there's no incoming connections. Everybody connects to the proxy. So it's kind of cool is if I ever get ransomware in the lab, if you ever do a port scan on my media agent and ComServe, there's nothing open, can't get to it. And if you're able to do a port scan on my clients, the only thing that's open is, obviously the things the clients use, like if they're a web server or something. But the port for Commvault 8403 is not open. The ComServe proxy uses port 8403, and those connections come in. So when somebody wants to make a communication from this group, they connect to the proxy, and the proxy allows you to connect to the ComServe and media agents, and vice versa. So it's pretty cool. The main reason I like this too in the lab, I'm setting up clients all the time, like databases and all sorts of stuff, and I can't be bothered messing around with static IPs. I just want to use DHCP. So when they come up, they get a DHCP address to use the Commvault environment. They just have to know, talk to the proxy, and get everything you need. So that's what you see that demo group in when I'm recovering. Some people don't use these topologies, but I personally like them. I think they make things a lot easier. All right, so let's cancel here. So now we've gone through that. We've gone through what the lab looks like, showed you where to put your ISO, showed you what the DR destination is all about. Now, time to VirtualizeME. So let's go up. Let's see if this will cooperate here. Come on. My mouse always has trouble getting that to light up. Here we go. We'll go to Protect, File Servers. And the way I set this up, I gave it a name. So you can see it here, Citrix Xen. And just to show you where it's coming from, here's Citrix Xen. This is our friend right here. This is what I'm going to recover. And it's currently running right now. It's got Windows on it. So this is what I'm going to recover. This VM, I'm going to bring it over into VMware. So here we go. Let's be a little pokey. Here we go. So I've had this running now for a little while, and you can see some dates here. So I could pick any one of these if I want to. I'm just going to pick today. And see how it says restore? This is if you're going to like restore a file. But since we have everything set up, it knows I can do VirtualizeME because I have VMware set up. So I'm going to click VirtualizeME. And this is like a two-click process, how easy this is. So what's going to happen is all this information here will fill out. It's talking to figure out what volumes you need to restore. Now that VM over in Xen only has a C drive, but if I had like a D drive, an E drive, an F drive, they would all show up here. And there's my virtualized demo recovery target. So you can see the value in this. If I'm doing a lot of VMs, I just select that and everything's all set over in VMware, what data store to put it on, how much memory, how much CPU, all that stuff. And then the CommServe gateway is right here for getting set up. So we are all ready to go. And I'm just going to click submit. So you'll notice I just hit VirtualizeME, submit. That's it. Now let's see how fast I can do this. Let me get over here and get here. A lot of times it goes too fast and I don't get to see it. Missed it again. Well, you would see here that it set this VM up. See this right here? There's the VM. It just set it up. And let's bring up the web console. And for all intents and purposes, this is where all the action happens. So I'm going to let this come up. And it's going to kick off a VirtualizeME job, which is sitting there right now. Let's go take a look in Commvault. I'll just show you what that looks like. So this is where we're at right now. Go to my jobs. And there should be only one in here. And here's my VirtualizeME. I'm going to hit view job details. Now this will take a little while to get going. And what it's going to do is you'll see this is the parent job, and it does all the orchestration. You'll see a restore job kick off in a moment. So while we're waiting, let me go over to cross hypervisor restore in Commvault. Now they got a lot of stuff in here. So if you look in your source column and your destination, if I'm in VMware, and let me scroll up a little better here so you got to get the headers so it makes sense. Okay, so here's the destinations. I probably want to go to Alibaba, Amazon, Azure, Hyper-V, Nutanix, all the way across. If I'm in VMware, I can go to all of those. Now, if I'm in these guys, where can I go? Like say I was in Hyper-V, I can go to Amazon, I can go to Azure, Azure Hub, Azure Stack, and I can go to VMware. So anywhere that says yes, fantastic, do that, because what you're doing is you're just converting basically those big disk files. Like for example, in VMware, you have a VMDK file. You just convert it into another big disk in the other platform. It's super fast, super easy. But if that's not available, Commvault has VirtualizeME, and it has the system state. So you can just do the recovery if your VM's living in there. And if you happen to look up and down here, you're probably looking for Citrix Xen. They don't have it. So this is really the only way you can do it. You can do it from a one-touch CD. So that's why that's there. And that's why we're doing this video. So back to jobs. Let's see what's going on. And it's still getting ready. Let me go back over. Oh, there it goes. It went green. So that probably means it kicked off the restore job. Let's go take a look. Yep, there it is. So now the restore job is running. This is the majority of this video. So let me hop back over here. And this is where all the fun is going to happen. Now, what's going on right now is we're getting a DHCP address. There's an answer file that's coming over. Here it goes. It came over. And this is where all the fun is. So it's clearing the disks that were created in VMware. So we'll just watch this for a second. Then I'm going to go over to VMware so I can show you what the VM looks like. So it's initializing the disk. And then you'll see it format the C drive. So this is all automatic. You don't have to do any of this. Commvault's taking care of all this. So there it is. So that's partitioned the C drive, put its little active partition on there, and the boot partition. And you can see there's that little partition that gets created, the 0.54 gig, and then the main partition, which is 31.46. So here we go. Now it says the full system restore has started. So that's running. So let's go hop over to VMware and see what did it do. So here's the VM. Let's right click on it. We'll do a edit settings so you can see what was done. So here's our, it's actually not showing up yet. I know that that's 4 CPUs. It'll take a little while for my VMware environment to catch up because obviously it's not one. because I know I set it to 4. Now here's the hard drive that was created. So you can see that was made because on the old system, all I had was a C drive. Here's the network that I had selected. I told it to go to 192.168. And if we go here to the CD, there's our one touch CD. It automatically mounted it and is using it. So really not much to it. Just does this creation for you. It's really nice. All right, let's see where we're at here. So this is now running. Here's our jobs. So this is running for a while. There's really not much more to show right now. So let's do this. I'm just going to let this sit here. And if you want, I'm going to leave this running. And you go ahead and fast forward through the video to the end if you like, but I'm just going to leave it here so, people can watch it. Okay, looks like we're finished up here. You can see that it checked the registry. A merge was not necessary. The job is 100% complete right now. Let's hop back over to Commvault, take a look. The restore has completed and VirtualizeME is running and it's getting ready to go. Let's head back over. What it's waiting for here is the box to come up and communicate back to Commvault that it's running, because right now it's running off the ISO. So it rebooted itself. It finished. Now, when you watch this thing come up, you'll see down here in the bottom of the screen, it'll say getting ready, looking for new devices, because Windows is booting off the hard drive that's on VMware in the data store. So it's coming up on new hardware. So now it's going to, do its drivers and all that kind of stuff. One thing I have noticed when I do this process, sometimes you can't get the mouse to work, and what causes that is a USB device was not added. So when this comes up, if I can't click on anything, that's probably what it is. We'll just add the USB device and boot it up. So let's see how we make out here. But this is a very simple process. Sure beats having to reinstall Windows and reinstall the applications and moving the data over and everything. This is a piece of cake. I mean, I literally just clicked VirtualizeME. That window came up and I just said submit, and then we just kicked back and watched it. All right, we're coming down the home stretch. Now let's see what happens here. Give it a Control-Alt-Delete. Let's see if we can get a screen to log in. Okay. All right, so I'll let this come up. And if we're going to go look over in VMware in a minute, and you're going to see it doesn't have VMware tools. Actually, while this is coming up, I'll just pop over there. Oh, actually, you can see, if you saw that script pop up, and there's another one. There's a couple little things that need to be done to the operating system when it comes up. So that's what those scripts were that you just saw. Okay, we're up. Now let me see if I got a mouse. If I don't have a mouse, I might have to go add a USB. And yeah, so you can see my mouse over here, but when I go in here, you got nothing. So what you do is you just go here, right click on the VM. Click add new device, USB controller, click OK. Come back over here. And oops, I lost my screen. Hang on, I gotta go back. There we go. So now, VMware had to reset that, but see now I can move around and do stuff. If you don't know that, that'll make you crazy. Yeah, so there's the USB device we just added. And you can see it says USB mouse. All right, so that's running. Let's go here and see right here, not running. So let's click that. We'll install those tools, say mount, and then we'll come back over here and give it a second. And you should see something come up over here, and if it doesn't, we'll just go after it. Hey, whoops, there we go. I gotta be patient. There it is. Click that. And then we're gonna run this. And I would just do the typical install. Let's just take a second. All right, so now we're installing the VMware drivers. This will just take a sec. And there are ways to do this in VMware to automatically push these out. You don't have to do it manually. Your VMware administrator can help you with that. And there we go. There's the video driver just installed. Another second here, we'll give it a reboot. Finish. Yes. All right, when we come up this time, we'll have the proper network drivers, we'll have the proper disk drivers, because you can use the ones that come with Windows, but to do it proper, you should use VMware tools. And let's see if it picked it up yet. Take a peek over here. Not yet. And once you get VMware tools installed, you'll notice that it's just more peppy. And the video drivers are better. There we go. Okay, we're up now. VMware tools ought to be up. Let's see. Yep, there we go. So we're running now. And here we are. Control Alt Delete so I can get my screen. And now we're logged in. And I did set this up for DHCP. So when you look in the lower right corner of the screen, when this thing comes up, you'll see the network's connected. Okay, we're up. And then down here in a second, those little icons will come up showing that the network is working. And we're getting there. Okay, see the network right there. It's up, has internet access. So we're up and running now. C drive is there. Everything is running just fine. Go back to my jobs. See the VirtualizeME is complete because that machine, when it came up, it contacted back to Commvault to let it know that it's up and running. So that all finished up beautifully. So we're all good. All right, so just to wrap up here, let's go over here into VMware. Here's my VM is powered on. I've got, my VM tools are running. Everything is completed and running fine. And let me go over here to my lab demo just so I can give you a quick overview again of what we did. So I had a Windows 2019 VM running over here in Citrix Xen. It had the Commvault agent installed so we could back up all the files along with the system state. Then we did a VirtualizeME restore over to VMware, and Commvault was able to talk to VMware, create the VM that it needed, and then it booted up automatically off of the one-touch ISO that we had set up, using what we had put in the disaster recovery target. It came up, Commvault built the VM, set up the drives, and then began the recovery into the partitions that it created for the C drive. And then when it was done, it booted up And I did have that little glitch with the USB. It depends on your environment. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. And in my environment, I had to add that USB driver. Once I did that, my mouse worked and all that. Then when the box came up, I installed uh, VMware tools manually. If you talk to your VMware administrator, they can set that up so they can do it automatically. Because if you're doing a lot of VMs, you probably wouldn't want to do that manually, but you can push that over. But that's pretty much it. Very, very simple. All right, that wraps it up today for our Commvault 101 Xen to VMware restore. If you happen to have any questions about this video or anything about doing one-touch recovery / VirtualizeME from Xen to VMware, feel free to reach out to us. And as always, do not forget to hit that subscribe button so you'll get more great content just like this. Thank you.